What a day it is for all of us who live and breathe baseball. As the sun rises on a field forever changed by the passing of one of the greatest to ever lace up a glove, earlier today, news broke that Ryne Sandberg, the man whose name is synonymous with grit, grace, and extraordinary talent, has left us at the age of 65 after a courageous fight against metastatic prostate cancer. It feels almost impossible to separate our grief from our admiration. For Sandberg was more than just a player, he was a beacon whose brilliance lit up Wrigley Field for well over a decade and whose impact rippled through every corner of the sport. I still remember the first time I watched him glide into that left side of the infield, glove outstretched, ready to snatch line drives heading toward the hole between shortstop and third base. His footwork was poetry in motion, each step measured yet explosive, a testament to a work ethic that defied his natural talent. Offensively, he was no less spectacular, posting a career batting average of .285, smacking 280 to homers and driving in over 1,000 runs across more than 16 seasons in the majors. Those numbers alone tell a story of consistency, peak performance, and a level of excellence that earned him 7 Silver Slugger awards and 9 Gold Gloves, cementing his reputation as both a feared hitter and a defensive stalwart. But numbers, as impressive as they are, can only scratch the surface of the legend of Sandberg. It was 1984 when he exploded onto the national consciousness during what has come to be known simply as the Sandberg Game. Facing the St. Louis Cardinals on a nationally televised stage, he launched a game-tying home runs in the 9th and 10th innings, single-handedly turning the tide of a playoff race and capturing the hearts of millions of fans who might not otherwise have smiled on a Cubs uniform that afternoon. He did not merely win a game. He elevated the very idea of clutch performance, showing us that greatness reveals itself in the moments when the pressure is highest and the spotlight brightest. For those of us who bleed pinstripes, the loss of Ryne Sandberg might at first glance seem distant. He never wore the interlocking NY across his chest, yet his influence reaches far beyond the ivy-clad walls of Wrigley. Every franchise, every clubhouse, every player who dreams of greatness stands on the foundation laid by legends like Sandberg. When we cheer for our own rising stars, when we marvel at the agility of our young second baseman, or the power of our most promising slugger, it is worth remembering that they follow in the footsteps of a man who redefined what it meant to patrol the Keystone with flair, intelligence, and unwavering determination. Sandberg's career fielding percentage of .989 was, at the time of his retirement, the highest ever recorded by a second baseman in Major League Baseball history. That single metric encapsulates a lifetime of precision. The countless hours spent in the gym refining his mechanics, the late night studying hours of game film to anticipate every hitter's tendencies, and the steel-nerved calm with which he approached each hard-hit ball. He treated every grounder as though it were the biggest play on the field, every throw as though the outcome of a season hinged upon his accuracy. And that was just defense. When it came to his conduct off the field, Sandberg's legacy was equally profound, retiring once only to return years later with the same passion he had years before. He embodied resilience. He battled injuries, slumps, and the ever-relentless march of time. Yet he never let adversity define him. After hanging up his spikes for good, he turned to coaching and ambassadorship with that same fierce devotion to the game, sharing his knowledge with young prospects and serving as a living link to a golden era of baseball. His statue rising outside Wrigley Field serves not only as a monument to his achievements, but as a reminder that true greatness extends beyond what happens between the lines. From the moment Sandberg first stepped into the batter's box in September of 1979, he captured the imagination of every fan who watched his bat explode through the strike zone. He became the bridge between generations, the player grandparents would tell their grandchildren about, the man whose number 23 sat in the rafters like a shining badge of honor. And for those of us who have grown accustomed to the storied history of Yankee Stadium with our own pantheon of heroes immortalized in stone, and bronze, Sandberg's journey resonates deeply. It makes you wonder, what stories will be told about our own favorites in another 30 years? What moments will fans recount in hushed tones as though they have taken on the weight of myth? Today, our thoughts and prayers are with his family, with the entire Cubs organization, and with fans around the world who feel a profound sense of loss. There will be no filling the void left by Ryne Sandberg, but there will be a generation of players who carry his lessons forward, whose careers he has already helped to shape simply by the example he set. And as we wipe away tears for a man who gave everything he had to the game we love, We also raise our hats in gratitude for a life lived with purpose, passion, and unwavering commitment to baseball. As the sun sets on this chapter of the sport's history, it is fitting to remember that for every name we chant, for every statue we erect and jersey we hang in a museum, it is the character, the resilience, and the spirit of players like Sandberg that make baseball the timeless, transcendent experience it is today. His story is now part of the fabric that binds us all together, Chicago or New York, blue or pinstripe, veteran or rookie, and in that way, Ryne Sandberg will never truly be gone. And so, as we gather our thoughts and steel ourselves to continue this season without him, we carry forward his legacy, cherishing the memory of a player whose life on and off the field will forever inspire those who step onto a diamond with dreams of leaving their own indelible mark. The game feels a little quieter today, but in the echo of every crack of the bat and the whisper of leather on leather, his presence endures now. With our hearts heavy yet hopeful, we shift our focus back to the Bronx, where the pinstripes await our undivided attention, and the next chapter of this season, full of its own dramas, triumphs, and heartbreaks, is ready to unfold now. As the calendar inches ever closer to July 31st, the air in the Bronx hums with anticipation and a hint of unease. With exactly 72 hours separating us from the trade deadline, every day feels like a high-stakes inning against the most formidable opponent, time itself. For months, whispers have floated through the clubhouse, leaked from front office sources, and echoed in the corridors of Yankee Stadium. Rumors of blockbuster acquisitions, last-minute rentals, and seismic roster upheavals have kept fans glued to their screens, hearts pounding with equal parts excitement and dread. Yet nothing could have prepared us for the revelation that briefly sent shockwaves through Pinstripe Nation. At one point, the organization seriously contemplated transforming from buyers into sellers, all because of one injury, a flexor strain in the right elbow of our reigning American League most valuable player, Aaron Judge. Judge's slide onto the injured list felt like a body blow to every fan who bleeds pinstripes. Here was the man whose mere presence in the lineup instills fear in pitchers and hope in the dugout, suddenly sidelined, his swing silenced as the team faced down a Sunday matinee against the Rays. In that contest, the Bronx Bombers mustered just 6 singles and a walks, eking out only 2 runs in a 4-2 defeat that bared the raw truth. Without Judge, the lineup's power evaporates, the clubhouse's confidence wavers, and the identity that has defined this franchise for generations feels unmoored. It was one thing to endure a brief absence here or a day off there. It was another entirely to stare down the possibility that our season's hero might be dusting pine tar in the trainer's room for the rest of July. Insiders now report that, in the immediate aftermath of Judge's injury, the front office convened in urgent meetings that lasted long into the night. Conversations that had once revolved around prying loose a veteran reliever or dangling a prospect for pitching depth suddenly pivoted toward a far more drastic scenario: unloading veteran assets to reset the clock on an underwhelming campaign. The names discussed in hushed tones would have stunned even the most jaded observer. Players like Cody Bellinger, whose left-handed power had been touted as the perfect complement to a Judge-powered attack, and Devin Williams, whose slider has tormented left-handed hitters all season, were briefly considered potential trade chips. And that, perhaps more than any single report, underscores how precarious the situation felt in those tense hours. It is one thing to entertain a strategic sell-off when a season is effectively lost. It is quite another when you remain within striking distance of contention, with so much still to play for. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Whispers are growing louder across the baseball world as recent remarks from Alex Jackson have sparked intense speculation about his future and his past decisions. The young outfielder, once a promising prospect within the New York Yankees organization, has openly expressed regret over his departure from the Bronx Bombers, sending shockwaves through fans and analysts alike. Jackson's candid admission, made during a recent interview, hinted at a sense of longing for the Yankees' iconic pinstripes, a uniform he once proudly wore, though he didn't explicitly detail the reasons behind his remorse. Insiders suggest that the combination of the Yankees' supportive environment, the passionate fan base, and the club's historic prestige left a lasting impression on the player. His departure, initially seen as a strategic move to pursue more playing time or a fresh start, now appears to be something he looks back on with a tinge of disappointment. This revelation has ignited a whirlwind of speculation about whether Jackson might be looking for a route back to the team that first believed in his talents. Given the Yankees' ongoing search for versatile outfielders who can contribute both offensively and defensively, Jackson could fit neatly into their roster needs. Rumors have swirled that the front office has maintained a watchful eye on his career trajectory since his exit, assessing if a reunion would be mutually beneficial. Furthermore, the buzz isn't limited to the Yankees' front office or fan circles. Rival teams are also reportedly interested in Jackson's services. His raw power and athleticism make him a valuable asset, and the notion of the Yankees possibly re-signing a player who publicly regrets leaving only adds fuel to the trade speculation fires. Conversations behind the scenes hint at potential negotiations or at least preliminary inquiries, suggesting the Yankees could be testing the waters. Jackson's public remorse might also reflect the challenges he has faced since stepping away from the Yankees. Whether it's adjusting to new team dynamics, the pressure of proving himself elsewhere, or missing the unique camaraderie of the Yankees clubhouse, his comments suggest that the grass might not be greener on the other side. This human element adds a compelling narrative to his career, reminding fans that even professional athletes grapple with tough decisions and their consequences. As the baseball world watches closely, one thing is clear: Alex Jackson's regret has reopened discussions about player loyalty, career choices, and the magnetic pull of legendary franchises like the Yankees. Whether this leads to a dramatic homecoming or remains a tantalizing what-if, the buzz surrounding Jackson's future is sure to keep sports headlines buzzing for weeks to come. Stay tuned as this developing story unfolds, possibly reshaping the landscape of Major League Baseball's off-season moves. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.